my name is Jacqueline Novi, and this is my channel. I wanted to give you guys a list of book recommendations if you are interested in vocal health or becoming an actor or already are an actor. Overall, they're useful in general, or at least in my opinion, they're useful. I don't know how valid that is. Before we get into the video, if you like this video or like this premise, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you love this video, feel free to subscribe. It really helps me out. And click the bell notification if you would like notifications about future videos. I'll also put my social media handles down here. So if you would like to give me a follow on social media, feel free to do that as well. Let's get into the videos. If you are somebody who has ever worked with an accompanist ever, in an audition room or in rehearsals or just talking to them, you need to buy this book if you don't know what I'm talking about already. So as you can see, I bought this book because of school, and then I ended up purchasing it because I liked it. I rented it, you know, I just kept it, so they just charged my account. So I'm sorry, Berkeley Bookstore. I'm trying to peel off the thing as we talk right now, just so I can get rid of my shame. That's not going into the video, I just dropped my freaking book. The Enraged Accompanist Guide to the Perfect Audition by Andrew Gerl, G-E-R-L-E. In this book, I'm going to read the back of it to you because, you know, I can't say it any better than they can. Award-winning composer and pianist Andrew Gerl pulls no punches in this irreverent, fly-on-the-wall guide to everything you've ever been taught about auditioning for musical theater. From the unique perspective of the pianist bench, he demystifies the audition process, from how to put together your book and speak to an accompanist to the healthiest and savviest ways to approach the audition marketplace and your career. By better understanding the dynamics of professional auditions, you will learn to present yourself in the strongest, most capable way, while remaining true to your own special voice, the one that, in the end, will get you the job. So this is basically what you should do, how you should put together your book for the accompanist, just tips and tricks in general when you're going into the audition when it comes to like talking to the accompanist, or your book, or how it should be labeled, etc., etc. So I just feel like this is a handy dandy book to keep in mind when you are auditioning, or are going to be auditioning, or just learning about the process in general to audition. That's number one. How many more to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, granted, 2 of them are like special extras, so 4 real ones left. So the next one I am going to give you is technically a coffee table book, but I really think that is interesting if you are wondering about Broadway musicals in general, what year they were from, or the synopsis of any show ever. This is Broadway Musical Show by Show, 8th edition by Stanley Green, revised and updated by Carrie Janelle? I think it's Janelle. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. It looks like this, so that you guys know. Yeah, I think that this is just like, you look into it and it's all in black and white, but you can like, it's year by year. So like I'm in the year 1949 and I just opened to Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. So, and then it has all of the information of the musical, who the music was written by, who the lyrics were written by, who the book was by, director, choreographer, cast, songs, and then the New York run or the regional run or whatever. And then it has a synopsis of the show. And it usually also has a picture. Some of them don't have pictures, but most of them do. So I think it's a good coffee table book and something that you should probably buy if you don't want to look on Wikipedia every time you go into a show audition. This is very good to have because honestly, like when you're going into an audition, you really need to at least know the show synopsis, if not all of the show already, because they will ask you to either sing a song from the show. If you get a callback, you're going to be singing something in the style of the show, and if you want to portray a character like the show that you're auditioning for, then this is a really good guide in order to know all of the characters. They don't say all of the characters in the synopsis. It's a good one to just keep in your back pocket. The next one is Actions, the Actor's Thesaurus by Marina Caldrone and Maggie Lloyd Williams, forward by Terry Johnson. This is going to be kind of difficult to explain if you've never taken an acting class, but just run with me, okay? So this book is basically a book of different types of actions that you can use in order to pinpoint exactly what you want in a character. This is really helpful for when you're creating a character sketch. If you don't know what a character sketch is, I can do a whole video on that, but it's basically when you get a part or you know, if you're going to be doing this for practice, if you pick a part in a show that you really want, or if you think that you're right for, and you go ahead and you do all of the analysis of that character, why they're doing each scene, when they're born, what their name is, simple facts about them, but also like finding their motivation, finding their drive. Each character has a specific drive for each scene that they're doing, but also each sentence. So when you're picking out each action for each sentence, it's really important to go through and pick out the exact right word that you're looking for, because if you don't pick out the exact right word, it might not feel right, it might not look right to the director, and you want to be able to be malleable as an artist, because finding your core motivation can mean several different things. Just because you have that one core motivation does not mean that you don't have several other different things tying you to that. Again, really hard to explain if you haven't taken an acting class before, but I think that's the best way that I can describe it. If you are an actor that is doing a character sketch currently, I would definitely, you know, if you don't have this book, then you can look up a thesaurus in general for action verbs, but this is really helpful to have on hand when you are filling out a character sketch, or in a show in general. This book's great. This book is another one that I really like personally. It's called What Do I Do With My Hands? A Guide to Acting for the Singer. So if you're a singer and you aren't really into acting, or if you don't know what to do in self-audition tapes, this book is going to be really good for you. Like, there's different exercises, and going through the analysis of a song in general, and making sure that you are saying what you really mean instead of acting or pretending to act when you're singing. I get into that habit a lot, so this book was really helpful for me personally, and doing the exercise in it helps me click into that like sixth sense where you just become the character instead of trying to act like you're the character. You really need to become the character in order to be realistic. It's hard to tap into that, but this really helps. If you do all of the exercises and you read through it and you read through it again and just like try and make sense of it as much as you can in your brain. So this one I wanted to save for last because it is my ultimate favorite book. I think that it is something that everybody should buy, whether or not you're a public speaker or a actor or a singer or even a dancer that, you know, sometimes acts. If you're in the arts industry in general, even if you're a YouTuber, like this can technically become public speaking, and it's really, really important to take care of your voice. So this book I would live by if you are trying to have a career in speaking of any sort, and it's called Everyday Voice Care, the lifestyle guide for singers and talkers. Prevent hoarseness, bounce back from small problems, and get the right help when you need it, by Joanna Kasdan. This is about voice care. It has a bunch of stuff in it. Honestly, like I have so many notes in here about like vocal health and whatever. It has really useful diagrams. If you're into that kind of stuff, I feel like diagrams are super helpful for me personally when I'm thinking about vocal health, because I feel like it helps with knowing what kind of body part to lift when you're going into head voice, and how your vocal cords react when you make a certain sound, and all of that kind of stuff. I know it's a little bit geeky, but it also has parts in it where it just like gives you certain tips or, you know, herbs and supplements to maybe try depending on what you want to do to your voice, and like medicine, like yeah. So I don't know. It should. I just feel like this is really useful for somebody, especially if this is like your first time taking voice lessons. I'm gonna recommend this book to all of my mentees that I'm teaching currently through the staff. I just think it's very, very important to think about vocal health, and she says it better than I can. Personally, like I grew up and I didn't know right from left when it came to vocal health, and I actually needed to rearrange my whole entire way of singing when I got to college because I was taught wrong, and I didn't know that I was taught wrong because I thought that I was supposed to be, you know, straining for that high note, or it was okay that I was hoarse after a week of rehearsals. And that isn't necessarily the greatest thing for your voice, and you need to know what's best for you and follow your gut with that kind of stuff. But also in the words of this book, it's in the words of your voice teachers, you need to pay attention to yourself because your body is your instrument. So if you mess it up, then it could be bye-bye voice. And that is scary to think about, yes, but also it's a reminder that you need to take care of your body because it's crucial in order to make a living in this industry. I mean, like, that's kind of a gloomy point, but at the same time, like, it's true. Like, if that doesn't light a fire under your butt, then I don't know what will. So personally, like, this is my go-to for voice health, for anything that has to do with like alternative voice medicine, because sometimes medications mess with your voice. You shouldn't be taking a medication that messes with your voice 10 hours before a show. So this is really helpful for that as well. But also, like, just like a reminder that you should take care of yourself, and self-care is important, especially when it comes to public speaking of any sort or singing. So yeah, I know I rambled a little bit on this one, but hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that it inspires you to take care of your voice because it's super important. So these are just 2 musical history books that I decided I would include in this like little basket of books, but I didn't necessarily think that they deserved like their own spot just because they are history books. And it really depends on if you actually like to read history or if you don't like to read history. So if you know, these are personal preference. I liked them. I thought that they were interesting to read, but if you don't want to buy them, I wouldn't consider them a must-have. So this one is Our Musicals Ourselves, A Social History of the American Musical Theater by John Bush Jones, with a foreword by Sheldon Harnick. It's basically like the political spectrum and musicals and how things have shifted and how things are. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, and it's interesting. I think it's a good read. And this one is John Kendrick Musical Theater, foreword by Oscar Hammerstein III, 2nd edition. This has a lot of like analytical things that are happening. They take specific songs and they analyze them in a certain way, and I think it's also very interesting in terms of an actor analyzing lyrics and kind of how to do that in a lens of history, because musical theater is a part of history. It's never going to be erased from history, but I feel like in the lens of regular history, it's hard to look at how things shaped music, how things shaped culture. I mean, this talks about like the elements of a musical and how they go into history. I think it's personally interesting. I said interesting so many times I'm going to include a counter, but I honestly just think it's interesting. Personally, I like history. It was one of my favorite subjects in school. I would say English was the first. Well, acting was the first, and then English, and then history. These are interesting reads if you like social commentary as well as history books. So it depends on which one you want to go for. I would definitely read the synopsises of the books before you buy them. Just to recap, these are all the books that you should be buying. You don't have to include these 2. These are kind of like extras, but these are definitely ones that you should consider getting. If you wanted to, I will be putting up the prices, and I'll leave everything on Amazon if I can find them. If I can't find them, I'll be trying to find them, so hopefully I'll be able to find everything for you guys. If I can't, I'll let you guys know by popping something on the screen or saying that this is a book like that if you're interested in it, or you have to buy it at the store. I'm pretty sure all of these are pretty accessible though, so if they're sold out, then that means that a lot of people wanted them. If you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you loved this video, feel free to subscribe. I know that this video is different than some of the ones that I've been doing. I thought the book recommendations might be good. Let me know if you liked it and if you would like to see more. I definitely have lists of books that don't necessarily have to do with acting, so if you like a regular book haul, just let me know. I'm definitely into like sci-fi stuff. You know, I used to be a big fan of Harry Potter, but okay, I'll leave my social media handles up here. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a great day and see you soon. Bye.
with you. We got no plans, we got nothing to do. You tell me you love me, I go start the coffee. Sunday morning